Hey class, welcome to part 2, the development and distribution of consumer products. Let's kick things off with chapter 6, fashion merchandising. Fashion terminology. Talk the talk. So here's a few fashion terms that you should know. Classic, design, fad, fashion, style, taste, and trend. The terms fashion and style are often used interchangeably. However, they are not synonymous. Fashion is a style that is accepted amongst the majority of a group at any one time. The group is generally defined by the same demographic and psychographic characteristics. There is no set length of time that a style is considered fashionable. Some styles are fashionable for a short period of time, and others are fashionable for a longer period of time. Style is a characteristic or distinctive artistic expression of presentation. It is the combination of features that makes it different from other garments. Example, a polo shirt versus a t shirt. The term style is also used to define one's look. What is your personal style? Our personal style is how we pull a look together by how we wear a garment and how we choose to accessorize it. Observers may refer to someone as having a good sense of style or a bad sense of style. A trend refers to the general direction or movement of fashion. Trends tend to be everywhere at the same time. For example, the trending Pantone color of the year can be found in home furnishings as well as apparel. Trends can vary geographically. Retailers use trends to identify what products to buy, how they should be priced, when they should be promoted, and when they should be marked down. Design is a particular or individual interpretation, version, or treatment of a style. This would include collar treatments, hem finishes, sleeve lengths, and skirt lengths. Taste is the prevailing opinion of what is or is not appropriate for an occasion. Wearing white to a wedding is generally thought of to be in poor taste, as is wearing provocative clothing to church. Classics are styles or designs that satisfy a basic need and remains in general fashion acceptance for an extended period of time. Classic styles or colors remain popular amongst the masses indefinitely and hence are low risk items for retailers. They are guaranteed to sell. Examples of classic items include the little black dress, a string of pearls, even the colors navy blue and black. Fads typically emerge amongst the young and are short lived. They sweep into popularity suddenly, affecting a limited part of the total population, and then they disappear quickly. Fads are a good revenue source for retailers who are observant and can identify a fad in its early stages. The retailer must also know the appropriate amount of inventory to purchase to avoid being over or understocked. Failure to properly stock will lead to a loss in sales. Here's a couple images of a classic, fad, and a trend. So Princess Diana's little black dress. We have an image of a model walking the runway with a suit that has shoulder pads. And then also Marc Jacobs, the tote bag. The 5 stages of the fashion cycle. In the introduction stage, fashion is regarded as high fashion, which is only accessible via the designer or exclusive retailers. As fashion transitions to the rise stage, it is adopted by fashion followers and floods the mass market. Once fashion hits its peak, sales plateau, and there are no new customers seeking the fashion. This leads to the declination stage, where sales decline and markdowns are taken to move the merchandise. Finally, there comes a point when the fashion is no longer of interest and cannot be sold at any price. Generally, predicting the time span of a fashion cycle or its phase is an impossible task. Each fashion moves at its own speed. Although the durability of an item can provide some indication as to the length of a fashion cycle. Fashions can be considered fashionable for a few months or a few years. There are 3 theories that explain the spread of fashion adoption from one socio-economic group: downward flow theory, also known as the trickle down theory; horizontal flow theory, also known as the trickle across theory; and the upward flow theory, also known as the trickle up theory. Downward flow theory claims that style is influenced by those at the top of the social pyramid and trickles down to those at the bottom. In layman's terms, those who are more affluent set the tone for what is considered fashionable. Because the lower socioeconomic classes generally want to associate with the more affluent, they eventually imitate the affluent style. In turn, the affluent, who often wants to disassociate themselves from the lower socioeconomic class, abandons the fashion. It all boils down to status. In today's society, when fashion takes off, it doesn't really matter who started it. Horizontal flow theory claims that fashion moves amongst groups in similar socioeconomic levels rather than vertically from one level to another, or that fashion is simultaneously adopted across all socioeconomic groups. This theory recognizes there are separate markets in fashion goods. It accounts for how similar fashions appear concurrently at stores that cater to diverse socioeconomic groups. The upward flow theory is opposite of the downward flow theory. It claims fashion is influenced by those in the lower socioeconomic class and then moves upward to the higher socioeconomic class. Hip hop, grunge punk, the biker look all started from the bottom and moved upward. These looks are initiated by the young and those with a low income lifestyle. The basic fashion continuum places goods either to the far left or the far right of the continuum. Basic goods that are functional and do not change from season to season, such as a basic white t shirt, is placed at the far left. Consumers buy and replace these goods out of necessity. Fashion goods that change from one season to the next and are used for adornment, such as fashion jewelry, is placed at the far right. Fashion goods can offer both functionality and unique styling, color, and texture. Consumers buy fashion goods due to their desire for change and because of the goods' appeal. Basic goods can be easily transformed into fashion goods simply by changing or adding color. Colorways are the least costly transformation method because they do not require new fabrics, styles, patterns, or manufacturing setups. Colorways can be created quickly using computer aided design. Express and Victoria's Secret are great examples of retailers that frequently change their color but not the design or style of an apparel item. Increased sales is the result of transforming basic goods into fashion goods. Fashion influences. Fashion change is a result of technology, the economy, and society. Technological advances have impacted how fashions are designed by using computer aided design, distributed via electronic retailing, and advertised using social media. Of course, one of the oldest advancements is the invention of the sewing machine, which enabled the mass production of merchandise. The sale of fashion is directly linked to economics. When the economy is doing well, fashion sells. However, when the economy is not doing well, consumers tend to only buy the necessities. Societal trends also affect fashion. For example, the increasing number of consumers seeking more sustainable merchandise has led to a shift in how manufacturers are producing products. Levi's produces jeans using less water in the finishing process, and Guess produces merchandise using recycled material. This is all the result of consumers wanting to be more eco friendly. All right, so this wraps up Chapter 6 Fashion Merchandising.